Hi, it's Matt from Trout Soup. Today we're going to be in Rocky Mountain National Park fishing a small stream, and this is going to give you a real good idea of how to fish small streams successfully. Today we're going to be catching brook trout and brown trout. There are some rainbow trout and cutthroat trout in here as well, but it's going to be all brookies and browns for us today.
Are you doing a video?
Yeah, show me your fly rod, baby. You look like a professional.
This time of year in Colorado is excellent for dry fly fishing. Look for willow bushes by the stream's side. They hold a lot of the flies, caddis flies, mayflies, midges, stone flies, you name it. Now many of these flies come from the bushes themselves. The wind will push them into the water, they'll just clumsily fall in the water, or they'll go to lay their eggs in the water. So we're fishing right here, where we catch our first brown trout within a few minutes, and they are feeding on top. He successfully released. These small streams are excellent practice for larger rivers. A lot of the features in these rivers, you can see the deadfall, the dead branches, and the undercut grassy bank on the far side. Great for practicing for larger rivers. Wildflowers, mostly in yellow today. So we're going to start with the yellow humpy. You might have remembered from one of my last videos that I like to match the color of the hatch or flies that I'm using, that kind of thing, based on the wildflowers that are blooming and the color of the insects. In this particular pool, we're fishing from downstream to upstream along the soft seams where you can see the current just slowing down. And then she catches a fish, brook trout, her first one of the day. In that little section right there, where it kind of pools right off of the ripples. Undercut grassy banks, these are perfect opportunities for dry flies especially. Now, she already pulled 2 fish out of this pool so before we started recording, so we didn't really have much action there. But in this particular pool, we've got some ripples, and you'll see her cast the fly in. And watch her follow, get a follow from the brown trout in the next frame. So we were casting to these fish upstream, and we were letting our fly run down. So we decided to switch tactics here and go with what's called a sort of a high stick dry fly tactic, where you keep your fly line off the water and approach these fish from the downstream side. She caught a couple doing this, using this tactic, and then we moved on upstream later on. The reason that we were using this, lifting your rod off the water and keeping your fly line off the water, is you avoid a lot of microcurrents that you'll find when you do a lot of small stream fishing. So I'd recommend smaller fly rods and lighter gear. We were using real short tippets. You can shorten your tippet for this small stream situation, and you can use 5 or 6x tippets. We were using 6x tippets. I do recommend releasing your fish if you are a catch and release fly fisherman like we are, 98% of the time anyway. We release our fish in much slower water than this particular little stretch here, but yeah, he was a little brookie and wanted to take off, so we couldn't get him into the slower water. After letting go a few more brook trout, we decided to move upstream to where the river converges. There is a split section of the stream, one branch coming in and meeting another. You can see to my left, that's the tail out section. The middle of it is where it spills over some log jams and rocks, and then the right is the tail out of the pool up above us. The willow bushes and branches hanging over the stream section is a great pocket area. I would think that there would be a lot of fish in this area, but my wife didn't tell me that she'd already pulled several out of this section of stream, so I didn't have any action myself. One thing you'll notice too in the fly fishing videos is my cast. I like to just use 1 to 2 casts. See, I just did 1 cast there, 1 cast there, get your fly out. This gives you much more opportunity for catching fish, for 1, and 2, at the end of the day, your arms and shoulders are not nearly as tired. We've got a weather system coming in, and we always carry ski hats, warm jackets, be prepared for 85-degree weather all the way down to snow. Okay, this next section is a little offshoot pool. It's kind of a back eddy. It's a deeper pool. Once again, my wife caught probably 3 little brook trout out of this pool and didn't tell me, so she just told me to go over there and start fishing. So you're not going to see much action in here, but what you're going to see is my rod tip is up fairly high. I've got the line off the water so that just the tippet and about 2 feet of fly line is hanging out of the end of the last guide, and that's key for setting the hook if you were to get a fish. I didn't get one out of here. And then you just let the fly drift real naturally. Sometimes it can skitter. A lot of the times these fish won't eat flies unless they're skittered or have a little bit of drag with the flow of the current, like they're moving. Not drag against the current, but with the current. Look at this next section of stream. That little pocket pool across on the other side of the current, that's where I caught this brook trout that you're going to see in the net. Now, many people will treat this like a large river or a bigger river situation where the seam and the big run itself is going to have a lot of fish. In these smaller stream sections, the little tiny places right next to the banks are typically where I see most of the fish. That's where this guy was. Stalking fish. Stalking fish. Any offshoot of the stream where it pools or goes into a back channel is a great place to stalk fish. This section of stream is like a classic large river, deep run. She caught a large brown trout out of here and almost got him all the way in, and then he broke her off. So she was pretty frustrated about that. But at this point, we're also trying to keep an eye on that big weather storm cell, the big weather storm that's coming from the west in Rocky Mountain National Park. Most of the time, the weather moves from the west to the east, but not always, obviously. Many times when you're moving up these streams, we work the edges, always working one edge and fishing above us, and then fishing out toward the middle, and then fishing the far bank. So she is working this near edge because she saw a rising fish there. She hooked him a couple times, didn't get him in, and then worked her way to another fish in this pool. And there he goes. One of the greatest things about fly fishing in these small streams, especially in the wild, back in Rocky Mountain National Park, you can see a lot of different wildlife. And today, to finish off our day, we saw a mother doe and her baby, her fawn, coming right down the stream. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed our video.